This is Lama Tantrapa, and I want to thank you for joining me for this video broadcast. Imagine for a moment that most people believe in good and bad. Now, how does that translate to our daily lives? Well, I actually train, practice, and teach the philosophy of integrating the aspects of our own being, the aspects of energy, without discrimination, that one is good and one is bad. As soon as discrimination of that kind happens, it leads to suffering. Now, of course, many people have asked me over the years, well, what do you replace the judgment of good and bad with? Because we cannot make any decisions without deeming something good and labeling something bad. How do you make any decisions? Well, I'm here to share with you the most intelligent way to make decisions. As a matter of fact, I've trained thousands of people already in this method of decision making, and by and large, most people come back to me and shared stories of amazing breakthroughs, of great successes, and also of significant personal development and improvement of their own quality of life that resulted from applying this method of making decisions based on something radically different. Instead of good or bad, the people learn how to develop understanding of energy resonance. That's right. I teach and practice and introduce my apprentices to the idea of energy resonance as the most intelligent way to make decisions. How do you know energy resonance? Well, you have to pay attention to energy, which is the inner essence of everything in our galaxy and the universe as we know it. If you pay attention to energy, you may be able to tell whether or not you resonate with it. Of course, for that purpose, you also need to know your own energy. So you need to pay attention to your own inner essence. Once you know yourself and you can compare how well you resonate with something else, then you can make decisions based on how well you feel that resonance. It's authentic to you because you're not being indoctrinated or coerced or fooled into believing that something is good or something is bad, something is light or something is dark. You actually experience authentic energy awareness that leads you to make the most intelligent decisions. Simply focusing on energy resonance also allows you to be fully present. That's right. You are present because yesterday you might have had different energy. Tomorrow, your energy may change again. You are a living being. You are constantly in flux. That means that you can be also authentic, meaning being true to what you are and who you are right here and now, instead of following certain preconceived ideas, premeditated choices, which are usually not true. As you may understand, what was good for one person yesterday may not turn out to be so good tomorrow. Just like what is good for one person may not be good for another. So what we do is we dispense with the whole notion of goodness and badness. We basically stop polarizing the force into light and dark. That also means that you no longer have the internal warfare going on within your own consciousness. Because there's always some aspect of consciousness that has to resonate with the opposite side. Otherwise, we couldn't even conceive that the opposite side exists. In other words, whenever we polarize things, whenever we compartmentalize things into good and bad, light and dark, and so on, we always experience internal warfare that, of course, manifests in our external world as the perennial struggle between the forces of light and dark. We actually learn how to quit this internal warfare by integrating with our shadow, integrating with the aspects of our being that perhaps we cannot accept fully, until today. And even if you have difficulty accepting certain aspects of yourself fully, you realize they do deserve attention. And what happens is that when you recognize that something deserves attention, you learn to accept it. As a matter of fact, acceptance is prerequisite for attention. It's hard to pay attention to something you don't resonate with or that you don't accept fully. So we learn how to expand our focus of attention, to embrace things that perhaps we don't find appealing or we don't feel happy about. It's just like when you go to a museum. You may see different pieces of art on the wall. Paintings, sculptures, various other artifacts. Some of them you may really resonate with, and you really enjoy spending time watching them, looking at them, studying them. Some of them you may not like, you may not even appreciate, or you can't stand some of them. Now, if you just spend all your time in front of those pieces of art in the museum that you can stand, bitching and moaning that they shouldn't even exist, that's going to be a miserable trip to the museum, right? Now, that's how a lot of people also spend their days. They have tendency to focus on things they don't resonate with, and then they bitch and moan about them. Or they project into the future certain things that they don't want to experience. And then they fret, or worry, or have anxiety about things that they don't want to experience in the future, but they focus attention on them. Therefore, where attention goes, energy flows. They actually empower exactly that which they don't want to experience. They may experience it more likely in the future. Plus, they also torture themselves in the present time. Now, if you focus only on things that you resonate with, you can enjoy being in the flow, which is a wonderful thing, but you may not learn everything that you could learn. What do I mean by that? Have you ever experienced some major challenge or setback in your past when things were really problematic, maybe dramatic or even traumatic for you? If you did, I wonder if you eventually learned something from that experience that allowed you to perceive that not as a problem, but as a learning opportunity. Most people I've worked with have at least one experience like that in their lives, and many have had dozens of such experiences. I've personally experienced being shot at, being blown up, being kidnapped, being tortured. All kinds of crappy things have happened to me when I was not in the flow. But instead of perceiving them as problems and dreading certain events of the past, I actually learned a great deal from them. Learned perseverance, learned resilience, learned flexibility and detachment, learned how to perceive my whole life as a dream, which allowed me to no longer suffer from whatever life threw my way. As a matter of fact, I started appreciating those experiences that gave me these lessons, which means I actually developed gratitude for that which most people would perceive as a problem or a major setback. For example, nobody seems to appreciate being kidnapped. Well, I actually learned a great deal from that experience. Now, imagine for a moment that you don't have to get kidnapped, but you can benefit from all the challenges that you can experience, small or large, by shifting your perspective so that you perceive them as learning opportunities, as great lessons that you can learn from and benefit from. Once you learn whatever there is to learn, you can also apply the lessons so that you don't create the same kind of scenarios in your own life any longer. That means people who don't learn actually keep recreating certain experiences in their lives until they get it. That's one of the reasons why so many of us experience this kind of cyclical crisis in our lives, is because we create certain scenarios in our own lives from which we are supposed to learn. We keep giving ourselves lessons, so to speak. But if we don't pay attention to the lesson, if we perceive it as a problem, and I said already that acceptance is a prerequisite for attention. And as you can imagine, attention is a prerequisite for learning. You cannot learn anything that you don't pay attention to. So if you fail to accept your experiences and fail to pay attention to them, you can't learn whatever there is to learn. Therefore, you cannot benefit from the experience. And then you keep repeating these experiences again and again, maybe in terms of relationships or finances or politics or environment or any other issues that you experience in your life as challenges or as problems. They actually can be perceived as learning opportunities and learned from and benefited from. And that means that you actually have to pay attention not only to things that you really like and resonate with, but also to those things that you don't resonate with. The challenges, you have to accept the challenges. Accept means recognize that there is something there for you to learn. You don't necessarily need to like the challenges. You don't have to give yourself more and more ordeals. However, some people do. As a matter of fact, I've never heard of anyone who would achieve any degree of enlightenment without having gone through a tremendous number of ordeals or suffering. So even suffering is not a bad thing. Now, of course, a lot of Buddhists would probably jump out of their skin now and say, wait a moment. No, we're trying to eliminate suffering. We're trying to make it so that we would be free of suffering. Nirvana is the state of freedom from suffering. Well, guess what? We can experience nirvana here and now, or at least in this lifetime. We can learn how to be free of suffering. It doesn't mean we run away from it. We just simply don't need to create more suffering for ourselves and for others. But it's not a bad thing to experience once in a while. It's just something that you can be conscious about. As a matter of fact, you may even do this on purpose. You give yourself an opportunity to experience a little bit of suffering. You're not trying to indulge into it, but you're not running away from it. You realize, oh, there is a value in being on that side. There's a value in being on this side. As a matter of fact, these sides probably transmute and transform into each other from time to time. Now we're talking about the alchemical understanding of transformation of forces, or sides of the same force. So this, I believe, was the limitation of the training of the Jedi Knights, or Padawan, the apprentices to the Jedi Knights and Jedi Masters. In order for you to be able to develop greater skill and also enjoy a greater fate than the Jedi experienced in Star Wars, I invite you to engage in training with me, where you will be able to learn how to work with energy directly, how to develop the skills and abilities in energy awareness, applying the principles of energy awareness into your daily lives, improving your health, enhancing your ability to handle pretty much anything that life throws your way, and at the same time also enjoy the ride. It's an exhilarating ride to study these arts, because as you can imagine, most people watch the Star Wars because they wish they could experience the journeys, experience the adventures that those Jedi Knights and Jedi Masters had. Well, you can experience a great adventure yourself by engaging in your studies with me. You are guaranteed to dive into an amazing opportunity to give yourself more adventures in your life, to learn a great deal more than most people ever learn in their lifetimes, and also to learn how to benefit others. Now, that was a very important aspect of the Jedi training that actually I want to emphasize. They were selfless. They learned how to serve. Now, serving others, serving not only the Jedi Order itself, but also the Republic or the humanity or the galaxy, if you will, is an important ability that a lot of people never study. Some people learn a little bit about service. For example, they may be in service professions. They may be in helping professions, like they may be healers, massage therapists, doctors, but often they don't know how to really dedicate the life to service. What does it mean? It means that you actually can learn how to be selfless enough so that you develop the ability to improve your quality of life by serving others. Sounds like a paradox? Well, let me explain it to you so that you really don't have any hesitation or questions that you may be wondering about. How can you be serving other people and improving the quality of your life? You're spending energy, time, and effort helping others all the time. How is it possible to improve the quality of your life? Well, let me tell you. The simple and elegant resolution of that conundrum is this. The more people you help manifest and live their dreams, the more people will help you manifest and live yours. What does it mean? It means that it actually is a worthwhile endeavor to support other people in manifesting and living their dreams. It's a worthwhile endeavor to dedicate your life to service of the others, because you will also learn how to manifest and live your dreams, and others who benefited from your service will more likely support you in manifesting and living your dreams, which is going to be a lot easier for you than doing it alone. The Jedi Masters also sometimes experience loneliness. Remember, some of them exiled themselves or just stayed in some remote places for various reasons. And they also started losing the grip on the art of serving other people. So, this is another important aspect of our training. Learning how to be in the world, but not necessarily of the world. However, you don't deprive yourself from the opportunities to serve others. You actually enjoy the practice of service. It's also referred to as karma yoga. Karma means action. What kind of action? It's a conscious action. It's the action that actually creates the beneficial results. Karma is also often understood as the law of cause and effect. As a matter of fact, ignorance of the law of cause and effect is one of the main causes of suffering. So we learn how to pay attention to it. And we also learn how to apply our understanding of karma in a way that improves our quality of life and that of other people. And you will learn how to practice karma yoga on a daily basis. I invite you to visit my website, qigongcoaching.com, and learn how you can become a modern-day Jedi Master. I look forward to working with you.